Hello humans, this is, I want to call it the who, what, when, where, how of Crusade. And for this one in specific, this will be the where. I have attempted to use my Momusu collections of coasters to recreate the field for the game Crusade TCG. But I would have liked to do it with a actual playmat, but I don't have any with me, or I can't really find it, or I'm too lazy to find it. But anyways, right here we have, I'm going to be using the different characters to explain where everything goes. So here we have the poppies down here. I'm just going to move the camera a bit lower so we get a bit more Poppy in there. Alright, so we have Poppy down here. Poppy will represent the mana zone. In this game we call it G. Sue, right here in the middle, will be known as the assign area, the main deployment area. Dada right here will be the top ace area, but we'll be saving this for some other time. And here, Centoria right here will be representing the deck, which we call Nation. And Mia will be actually the damage area, which is actually the Lost Nation. And Raknira right here on two sides will be called the battle area, where essentially your units will be fighting your opponent's units. So how this works is right here in the deployment area, we can play units. We have units. Essentially any number of units in this area. There is no limit to how many, essentially, per se, units you can play. There is a small condition, but that has to do with the specific effect that are written on cards, and I'll get into that some other time. And likewise, units can go here, and essentially, aside from units, other cards that go into the Sue area, the assign area, are characters. So characters can also enter into this area. So, and again, there are no limits to how many characters you can have in the assign area. You can just fill it up as much as you want here. Same goes with units, and they essentially, when you play them from your hand, this is where they will enter the assign area. So the area where Sue is the green area. So units and characters go here. Alright, and as for Poppy, the blue one down here, this is the mana zone, the G zone. And essentially how this happens is you place, every turn you get to do it once per turn. You place a card upside down here. Make sure the card has, is what you see right here, a G symbol. So mana symbol, I guess. You can just play it down there, and it will represent 1 mana, basically. I'm just going to shove everything a bit up. So yeah, in the poppy area, I just put it here, and then this will equivalent to 1 total mana, 1 total G. And every turn you get to play it once. So here we got a second one, and you keep going essentially like that, and just right here like that, once per turn. And this is where you would be putting your mana. So the mana zone, G zone, right here is the sign area where characters and units can go. Right here, as long as it's a card with a G symbol, make sure it has just depending which series we're talking about, the symbol down here is a kind of different picture. We got the pig here, and for this one, essentially, there's some where it's unified, where it's just SC, so Sunrise Crusade right there, and that's fine too. As long as it has the circled emblem down there, you would just put it here, and then now you have 4 mana, 4G. And you can play anything that has 4 total cost 4 or lower. And yeah, essentially when I talk about deck here, I'm just gonna put a fake deck right here. This is where the deck goes, up here actually, called the Nation. And when you take damage, for example, when you're fighting and let's just say damage happens, you take cards from your deck and you kind of just put them sideways here. I took 4 damage, so 4 cards from your deck, and you put it here sideways. So right here we have our Nation, and right here we have our Lost Nation. And once you run on this guy right here, and they all go here, just essentially whenever this hits 0, no more cards in your nation is destroyed. You lose the game, either by drawing or taking damage until you have no more deck, no more nation. And right here, next we have Raknera, the battle area. So there's 2 battle areas in this game, battle area 1, battle area 2. Where essentially during the battle phase of this game, you would take the units in your sign area, which are standing units. You could take a couple here. Let's take probably 2. Right here, like that. Let's go this way. Okay, so we got 4 units in the back, and during battle phase, during attack step, you want to put your units into one of these or both of these areas to fight. So you don't have to push all of them up, it's just the desired ones that you do want to enter battle with. Because basically this is how you'll be dealing damage to your opponent's deck, their nation, and then hopefully dealing that damage and eventually winning. So I'm going to decide to sortie, put these 2 into these 2 areas, so I'll be attacking with 2 teams. Anything that you push into the battle area will be considered a team, even though it's just one on each side. So this is a team consisting of 1 unit, this is a team of 1 unit. Another thing you can do is you can put 2 units, one on top of each other, into one area instead of splitting them up. And here we have a team of 2 units. So yeah, in this way, essentially, you can use their effects together here, and when you're separating, you'll be dealing potentially more damage or more chances of dealing damage to your opponent this way. Because essentially, how you deal damage in this game is you go into the battle area, and your opponent will bring up their units in the battle area and fight your unit. And if they decide to guard, and you do not have trample or some effect to get over their number, right here, you won't be able to deal damage. And if they choose not to guard, let's say you put it up here, you put Black Lotus here, and they have a unit, let's say they have Vilkis in their assigned area, but they choose not to guard into this battle area, they will take the damage here that is written on this card right here. It would be a 6. They would take 6 damage from their deck into their lost nation, like that. And essentially at the end of the battle phase, whatever units that are not destroyed or are not affected by any effects that would remove them from the field, they would return back into your assigned area rested. So like I mentioned before, only units that are standing cards, can be sorted into the battle areas, either to attack or to guard. And once you choose one area, it cannot just jump over for no reason. It stays there. And likewise, the order as well. So if you choose it to go like this into this area, it does not magically jump over, or likewise, it just stays there until some other effect changes their location or whether they are allowed to be on the field or not. So units and characters. So characters, like I said, you cannot just sortie them into the battle area. They stay in the sign area for the most part, unless you decide to set these characters onto a unit, likewise. So when you decide to play a character onto the field, you have the choice to either set it on or put it onto the side. Set it onto a unit or just leave it in the sign area, the Sue area. Alright, so here we have the G zone, mana zone, the sign area where character and units goes, the battle area is where you put units up into fight, and the deck area. So Tio right here, as where I put the discard pile, so if something were to be destroyed or abolished from battle or not, you would just put them here. And Monaco right here is here for the remove from play zone, the exile zone. So there are effects that will exile cards, and essentially you would just put them in the exile zone. For the most part, when we do play this game, we do not use the Centauria or Mia area to put our decks, Nation and Lost Nation. We kind of just put them on the side deck, Nation, and we'll just take damage again on the side from here. So if our decks here take 5 damage, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that, and deck goes back to convenient area instead of the inconvenient nation area. I think they were going for like nation. Your opponent's nation would be here with your deck as well, kind of like the nations would be colliding, and you would fight with the nations around you. And as you lose a fight, your nation takes damage and you become smaller and a weaker nation, and you have a larger lost nation. But yeah, we just do it the convenient way. But if you play in a tournament, this is how it's supposed to be. And that is, and as for the top base, I will mention that later on. It is a new type of card in this game, I believe similar to Commander in Magic. And okay, let's go put this on back to my hand. So assign area. Oh, and when you play cards, they enter rest. I'm just gonna throw that in there because I feel like saying it. Except characters. Characters, they come into play standing, other than when you set it on something. And when you use commands, right, the other type of card in this game, it's gonna find you a command right here. If you use a command, a spell card, it just doesn't go anywhere on the field, and once the effect resolves, it just goes to the discard pile like that. Yeah, that seems to be about it. When we talk about field, though, in this game, it includes everything that is the assign area. So Su, the G, and the battle area right here. So the battle area, Raknera, Su, and Papi. This is what field is. And Lost Nation deck will be Centurion, but why not, right? More convenient. And Nara is technically not on the field. And that is the Wear of Crusade.